Hey everybody, it's Seth Jones, editor-in-chief of Golfdom magazine, doing another Zoom View video. Today I'm being joined by Mark Merrick, CGCS. He's the Vice President of Sales and Marketing of Genesis Turfgrass. Mark, thanks for taking the time to chat with me today.
Thanks for having me.
So let's start off. We're working on our 2020 State of the Industry report. First, I guess I should back up. For those folks who aren't familiar with you guys, can you talk to me about Genesis Turfgrass?
Yeah, Genesis is a distributorship of agricultural products in the Mid-Atlantic area, and we've been in this area doing this for about 12 years. We are in approximately 7 states, and we have 12 to 14 sales reps that are in amongst those states, and we do quite well with what we do. A lot of those reps are former golf course superintendents who know the business very well. We're pleased to have them.
Great. And you're a former superintendent. How many years have you been in the industry?
I started in 1973 when the changeover from farmers as superintendent started, and every irrigation system was manual with snap valves everywhere, even on greens. I could tell you stories. That's how old I am now.
Right, cool. Well, now I want to get into a different story where what brought us together here in the first place is that, and I'm well known for this. I don't tweet a whole lot anymore because whenever I tweet, I manage to put my foot in my mouth. I've had
foot and mouth disease.
Yeah, I've even had people cancel their subscriptions for things I've said about their sports teams. So
I was that close.
So hopefully, keep that subscription intact. So here's what I did. I sent, so for if we, when we, to tell the backstory, local radio station here plays All Time Low over and over and over again to the point to where I'm about to lose my mind. And I decide the Friday afternoon, I tweet and I just say, hey, is it just me, or are they playing All Time Low all the time? And then someone replies to me and says, why don't you ask Mark about that? And I'm like, why would I ask Mark about, what is this? And so we bounced back. Long story short, your son is the bassist for, and please tell me the story because I don't know, your son is the bassist in All Time Low, correct?
He's the bassist, yes. Mm-hmm.
Correct. So how cool is that to have? I mean, that's, and from now what I learned, this is like a really huge band, right?
Oh yeah, they're really big in I don't know, I call it punk pop, alternative, whatever you want to call it. It's not my thing. Well, at least it wasn't my thing until this all started. Now my wife and I pretty much know every word to every song.
That's cool. So how long have they been a band, and what's it been like to see them grow and become successful?
Well, it's a long story, like anything with parents and kids and what they want to do. I suggest you, if you want to do anything, go see that Straight to DVD, Straight to DVD, their first movie, I guess you could say they did years ago, and all the parents are on there, so you can see kind of true to life what happened. So I'll say that, little plug for that movie. But it's like anything else. They were in their teens, they got together as friends, they hit it off, and all of a sudden they came to us as parents and said, we want to quit everything else and get into this band thing. And of course we're like, excuse me? They're right before they go to college. They've taken, SATs and all that. And they're all were accepted into colleges. And then we had to make that choice of, letting them do this or not. And of course we all did, as the story goes. But we had to drive them around at the beginning. We're thinking, this isn't going to last. It's like, it's a teenage thing, whatever. And then all of a sudden they bring us to the table with the drummer's parents' house with this guy from California. And they want to offer him a record deal at 16 years old. Right.
Oh,
so, it's life. And so long story short, as you know, we worked through that, and we had some great parents. They have, the other band members' parents are great. They're fantastic people, and we worked it out. And lo and behold, it didn't take off right away, local bars and things and different. I could tell you stories, but when it did, it just took off big time. And MySpace had a lot to do with it back then, and what the kids did. Now, with my son, it was tough, and here I'm the dad talking. I'll let you interject here in a minute, but I got to get this in. He was a big sports kid. It's all your dad's favorite thing. Oh, he was great at lacrosse. He could play tight end in football, shortstop, pitch. He was great at anything he touched. But he did this half-hour guitar thing every week. And then one day he came to me and said, Dad, I think I'm done with this sports stuff and I want to get into music. I was in tears. I'm like, what? And I'm thinking, no, you're too good at all that. But anyway, as the story goes, now he's living in the big house in Hawaii.
Wow, that's crazy. So the song right now that they have out is called Monsters, and it's like it's been like for 3 months. It's been the #1 song in alternative radio or something. You know, and some people are like, "Oh, you still listen to radio?" Yes, I still listen. I'm a big music guy, and I love listening to the local alternative rock channels. So I guess where, and I want to hear it. And these are best stories told over a beer. So I look forward to when we can do that. Trust me. But
Absolutely.
like you've traveled with them and seen some pretty cool venues, I understand.
Well, I could tell you stories from Paris to Montreal to, oh gosh, Hawaii to many places. They've traveled the world. I mean, he's called me from places, bored, in Germany, and they've traveled the world, I guess, 7 or 8 times, been around the world 7 or 8 times in Australia. They've had a great career and they still are. But my favorite still is they sold out Wembley Arena. Now, not the stadium, but the next door arena, which I think is 15,000 or whatever, and they sold it out for 3 nights in a row. They're very well received in London, so we've been there a couple of times. But my favorite thing was we went there, and I'll try and make a long story short. They did this packed house thing, and they did a video, and you can watch. It's on Comcast, believe it or not. They did a big video of it, Comcast, and it's called Straight to DVD or I can't remember what it's called because I'm getting old. Something all-time low from Wembley Arena. Just look it up on Comcast. But anyway, we were there, and they had, of course, as all rock bands do, they bought out the bar at the top of the Hyatt in London. So we went, and the neatest thing for me was I ordered a Tanqueray and tonic, and some guy taps me on the shoulder and says, "Don't drink that S." And I said, "What are you talking about? It's your stuff." He was British and in a suit, and he goes, "Give him a Hendrix and tonic with a muddled cucumber." Right? And I'm like, okay, well, that's now my new drink. But this gentleman turned out to be friends with the band because his kids love the band, and he's an MP in Parliament. So make a long story short, he said, "Hey, you want to go into Parliament tomorrow? When they're out of session, we'll go in. I'll walk you through." Well, geez, we walked through Parliament, had my hands on the box, where Thatcher and Churchill, and I'm like, this is just incredible. And they're telling us a little history. And so then he goes, "Hey, you want to go down to the members bar?" So we go down to the bar, and all of them are in there, they're getting pints and drinking away right next to the Thames River. Then he goes, "Hey, you want to go on the roof?" So we go up, he's taking us to the roof of Parliament next to Big Ben. And the band, kids, it's everybody. It's just a wonderful one story out of many. And then he says, which was the icing on the cake for me, he goes, "Hey, you want to go to 10 Downing Street?" I'm like, yeah. So he walks us up the street, takes us through the machine gun guards, and it wasn't as bad as it is now to get through. Now it's more secure to let an old guy like me in. But we're standing at the door at 10 Downing Street. People are going in and out, and we're taking pictures. So believe me, that's just one story out of many I can tell you. These kids have been great. They're great at what they do. And it just shows you that, you put your mind to something and you work hard, you can get where you want to go.
That's crazy.
Same thing as a superintendent.
Yeah. Were you ever like, "Hey, I thought you were going to cut greens, but now you're out playing bass around the world," What was did you have a musical background, or did he just find music by himself, or?
Well, it's funny you should ask that. Yeah, our whole family's musical. I would say his sister Sam has the best voice out of all of us, but she now has family and grandkids for me, and it's a wonderful thing. But my wife Carla, she's been a musical dancer. Also, we've done some charitable work. We've been involved with Paint and Powder Club, oldest charitable group, performing group. She and I performed at Hunfest in Baltimore. I was in a band. I fronted a band for 5 years as a lead singer. So they've seen a lot of that growing up, and we forced them into singing karaoke too when they were younger. So that might have something to do with it. But the talent was there, and they just loved it. And Samantha was also singing the band with me, our daughter. So it's a musical family. Most people will tell you that.
How big is your family, Mark?
It's just the four of us, my wife and daughter and son, just the four
Okay.
of us.
Okay.
Yeah.
And just happen to have one rock star in the family and a dad who used to front a band. So what kind of music did you guys do?
Oh, we did, and you can look it up on Facebook. It's the One More Time Band. We're no longer together, but it's still on Facebook. One More Time Band. We just did classic rock from the '60s, '70s, '80s kind of thing, and we had fun, around town bars and weddings and things like that. Yeah, the wedding singer. That's it.
Okay. If you're the One More Time band, I don't think you ever officially break up with that name. There's always potentially one more time, right?
Oh, one more time, right? Absolutely. Yeah.
Good, cool. And is there one album that you would recommend that's most accessible, or for the if people want to like listen to them?
For All Time Low.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I really like Future Hearts. I think Future Hearts, was something that they did that was different and set them on a different course. I would do that. I think the one that's out now really shows their maturity. And I can't think of the name of it. It just came out in April.
Yeah.
They decided to let it come out even with the COVID, and it really made a difference. And
Wake
this
Up
monster
Sunshine.
Yeah, that's it.
That
And
looks
my
like
wife's
new.
gonna kill me for she's gonna kill me for not remembering. But
I'm putting
and of course they're putting these things out on vinyl too.
Oh,
So
cool. All right. Well, I bet you're looking forward to when they can start touring again, so you can like get out there and check out some shows again.
well, yeah, you'll find there's a video out there on YouTube too that the party parents, they called us, my wife and I, we're the party parents.
Good for you.
So we can't wait.
Good for you. That makes me even more excited to grab that beer someday and hear some more stories. So,
Well, we're going to see you front and center at one of these concerts when COVID's over. I'll get you there.
okay.
You want to be there. We'll get you there.
And I'm going to tweet about how awesome this show is. I'm going to be like, this is check out the All Time Low Monsters song. I can't get enough of it.
Excellent. And play it about 20 times in a row.
I'm going to set my alarm.
Now, last night at midnight, the new Monster song came out with Demi Lovato. So you got to download that. Yeah, there's a new one.
There's a new version with Demi Lovato. Song,
you got it. It just came out at midnight last night. Yep.
I'll tell my daughter. She'll be all over that. So that's hilarious. Well, Mark, thanks for your good sense of humor and not being like, dude, lay off my son's band. I had no idea.
Seth, I still love you. You do a great job. We all love you in the industry. You know that.
Oh, thanks, Mark. I appreciate it. We have a good time here, and I got to get my music out there when I can once in a while. So everybody, this is Mark Merrick, CGCS. I'm Seth Jones. Thanks for watching us here on Golfdom TV.